So I'm here this morning with Veneta Neale, who is currently working on her MA dissertation and also did the undergraduate degree in English literature and creative writing. So Veneta, for better or worse, has been stuck with me and the rest of the creative writing team at the University of Brighton here at Falmer for the last 4 years now. So I'm going to ask you some questions about your time and experience with us.
Okay.
Which I'm really looking forward to hearing, because even though we have spent some time together, I haven't really heard your views on some of this, although sometimes through your writing maybe. So the first question is, what made you decide to apply for the English Literature and Creative Writing BA at Brighton?
Okay, so I always wanted to write, and I just felt like I just couldn't. But somebody, or I don't know who, but somebody would say, don't be ridiculous, you can't be a writer. It isn't that important, it's not a real job. And although I was writing all the time, I just thought, yeah, something happened in my life. It just made me think I need to reevaluate everything. What do I really want to do? And I thought, I really want to write. And I didn't tell anybody, I just applied. And so, yeah, I was very, very happy when I got on the course. And I'm glad that I did it.
I actually remember meeting you at Open Day all that time ago as well.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I do, definitely. And I remember thinking, I hope that this woman does come along in September, because you already had loads of good ideas for your writing. So which sort of leads on to the next question. What would you, if you could go back all that time ago, other than warn the world about, the threat of COVID-19 maybe,
Yeah.
what advice would you give yourself? So thinking of yourself back at that Open Day or back at the first day of induction week, what advice would you give yourself now?
It's really hard, because I think I would say, don't be so scared. But actually, I enjoyed that fear because it helped push me. And me being worried about my creative work meant that I spent, quite a few nights staying up late and reading everything and watching every play, attending everything. So I'm glad that I had that fear. And I would also say that I should have had more confidence in my writing. But again, that's something else that pushed me to try harder. So I'm kind of glad for both of those things. The only thing that I would probably say is don't buy so many books, because I bought all the books. I haven't even read half of the books that I've bought each year, and I've just bought so many. I mean, but also, how can you have too many books? I don't think that's a thing either. So advice, no, just enjoy it.
I think that's what you said about confidence is really interesting, and also it was really pleasing to hear you say that you immersed yourself in kind of the opportunities that were available for you as well. Do you think that kind of process, did that help with your confidence, do you think?
Yeah, because I felt like I didn't have enough knowledge on a lot of things, especially I remember doing drama and society in year one, and just thinking I haven't watched enough plays, but the uni had put on some plays in the evening for us to watch, and that was completely different to one, watching it at home, or just reading the play. And it did make me feel like I could do better when I was then having to write a play. And yeah, and I did well. I got a first for that, so that was like my first in year one. So I was really pleased that I did spend more time on the things that I was worried about.
And is that quite hard though, juggling your time? I mean, I know how many demands that you have in your life, Veneta. So how do you keep up that motivation and kind of commitment to the course, do you think?
I think
And
it's
to your
just
writing.
because I want it. That's it. It's as simple as that. It's just because I know I want to do it and I want to do well. And there are 3 o'clock in the morning, jumping out of bed. Where's my pen? I've just thought of something good that I can write down. I'll come back to that tomorrow. But it's inside me. Like, I know that I have to just write, so it doesn't make me feel like it's a burden ever.
That's And what about, did those extra kind of events and stuff, did they help with your sense of community, your kind of your as a group of writers developing, or how does that work in your practice?
It depends really. I mean, me and my friend used to go and watch these plays, and we were the only people there. Like, we were the only people there, and they did stop them after about 5 weeks, because not that many people turned up, and we were really gutted when it ended. And we did. I think I had a small group of people that we worked together, so I didn't feel like I needed a lot of people around me to help me. I just needed to have like one important person that I could reflect with. I didn't need a big group.
And is that so? Now you're on the MA. How has your sense of yourself as a writer shifted or changed, or what are the things that you can see that thread back into the undergraduate degree, do you think?
Again, going back to first year, story in the self. Story in the self was what changed everything for me. I think I wanted to write. I wanted to wow people and be like, I can do something that's amazing, and it just didn't work. And then when we got to story in the self, and I was like, oh, it's okay to write about what's important to me. And then when I did, I thought, this is all I want to do. This is all I've ever wanted to do, but I didn't realize that anyone would be interested, which seems a little bit ridiculous because I always told stories about my family and people would be rolling around with laughter. And I'd think, I'm not trying to be funny, I'm just telling you this story. But then I realized that, yeah, I do want to do that more. And it's become the thread throughout all of my work. Just being authentic.
Yeah. And telling the stories you want to tell.
Yeah.
But informing those with the kind of the research, the skills that you learn while on the undergraduate degree and now the MA too.
Yeah.
You went silent there. That was and I just wanted to say as well, like now that you've said that, I can remember that presentation on storying the self in your first year. I can remember the story, you know, the process that you gave an insight into, and the story that you told, and it was like it was a real moment. And looking back, I can see how that has kind of offered you that scaffold into the amazing writer you are now as well. So that is kind of mind blowing. What do you find hard about studying creative writing?
The critical work that I have to put in. It always is. I mean, I just would like to write a story and write and write and write. And although that there's always an element of research anyway, because I'll start writing something and I think I need to branch out. I need to find out how other people did things, or I need to get some more information with regards to a time, a person. I always, or even just an area. But then going up to that extra level, I do find quite difficult, because I'm like, I just want to write. I just want to write the story. I don't want to always explain the story. But then when I do, I actually love what I produce, and I know that it changes everything that I do. And when I start researching, I then can't stop, and I kind of just, go off on I go too far. So I always need to learn to rein it in and not go too far with my research.
I don't think you ever go too far, but I think that is really interesting that as writers we do sometimes kick against articulating our process, but actually it is through that deep reflection and the research that we do evolve our practice as well. So that is really interesting to hear. And so what do you love? I mean, you've sort of said a bit of this already. What do you love about studying creative writing?
It's funny because although I spend time not writing with other people, I then like the community in the class and hearing what other people do and getting lots of ideas from other people as well. And also it builds the confidence when you're then reading in class and hearing, how you can change things, other people's views on your work, and they give you ideas as well. And learning to do the research, because before I was doing the creative writing, I just thought I'll just write and that'll be enough. And didn't really think about even looking at authors who write like me or thinking about where I fit. And that has changed that a lot.
So that makes me think. So I mean, I've got a kind of sense of what you're working on at the moment, but where do you want to go next with your writing? You said about that thing of where you'd fit in the world of writing. So what are you going to do next with your amazing stories that I am going to miss soon enough? But so yeah, tell me what you're going to do next.
Yeah, that's the thing. Now I need to know more. So I'm starting with this one story and this one small family, which, you know, it feels huge to me because I'm always writing about one family. People just entered the room and the dog. Sorry.
Don't worry. That's fine. It's a live interview. We're not going to doctor this. It's fine. Life gets in the way as we're writing. That is fine.
Yeah, I know there's somebody's mowing the lawn as well. I can hear through in the garden as well.
It's all life. It's all lived experience that we need to be good writers. Well, maybe not the lawn mowing, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, so I want to know more about past that family. I want to know more about the generations who, you know, moved to England. What was it? What happened? And I want to expand and look at, you know, I write about my nan and the people that, you know, she spent lots of time with and the people that she influenced, and I want to know who influenced her and how that move would have been and what would have happened. And I need to know more. I feel like I need to know everything now.
So still doing some more excavation into kind of family history and things.
Yeah.
And what are you hoping to write with that?
That's a hard one. I never know what I'm going to write until it's kind of happening. Because I think when I first started writing the stories about my family, I thought I would just write about one person. And then I needed to know all of the siblings and 5 stories. And then it expanded then, because then I think I need to know, you know, more about my grandmother, and she had 11 siblings. So I'd you know, love to talk to all of them, and they'd have all of these stories to tell. But there's also this element of I need to hurry up because everyone is getting a lot older and they really are desperate to tell these stories, and they're really excited that somebody wants to hear them.
Yeah, that is such, you know, that's something that an aspect of your writing that really inspires me, because I wish I'd interviewed my family when I had the chance. You know, I wish I'd got to speak to them, and all these amazing stories that you're collecting and using to enrich your writing. You know, there is something. I mean, I think they will get out into the world and inspire a lot more people. But also in terms of a family archive, it is just an amazing thing that you're doing.
Thank you. Yeah, I also love that when I start talking to my family about their history, they get so involved and so excited, and they say, we didn't even remember that. And then they all want to talk about it, and then they talk about it amongst themselves, and then they come back to me, or I'll say, just tell me a phrase. Like the other night I sent a message and just said, just give me some 70s, you know, slang words. And I mean, it was really funny, you know, all the things that they were saying, but it always becomes a family involvement. It's joint history. It always ends up being joint history, not just about me focusing on one person.
I think that's great advice for potential students and also existing students as well, whether they're undergraduate or postgraduate, you know, to maybe use this summer to go and interview and talk to family members and to find out the stories that already exist in them and in their families.
Yeah, it's been a great experience, and it's brought us all a lot closer together as well.
That is the power of storytelling, isn't it?
Yeah, there's so much I didn't know about all of them, so it's been really interesting.
Yeah, and that is the power of storytelling, and why it matters so much, and why we try and do it as well as we can, I guess.
Yep. I'm so distracted. Jack's talking to me on the outside.
Oh, well, maybe we should end it there, but I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me, and I cannot wait to read what you're going to do next, because I know it's going to be amazing.
Thank you. Are you stopping the recording now?
I just did after